This is prime time for you to attack offensively. And the best way is north-south with a basket cut. Moving backwards is harder on a defender than moving laterally. If you pass and stand, it allows your defender to cheat toward the ball and give defensive help. Your defender will cut off half of the court and half of the offensive opportunities for your teammate with the ball. On the positive side, if you pass and cut, you create good things for the ball handler and your other teammates, regardless of whether you get the ball back or not. First, when you take your defender with you on the basket cut, then you've taken one of the immediate help defenders away from the ball. Now your teammate has more room to attack on your side. Second, your basket cut creates movement from your teammates who must fill the open spots. This occupies their defenders who are not as likely to help on the ball. And third, the teammate filling your spot has a chance to score because of your movement. This is one of the 3 scoring opportunities that we're going to look at. But before we look at these scoring opportunities, we must make sure that our passing does not screw up our spacing. With this in mind, here are the 2 basic rules for this layer. Rule number 1, when you pass to a teammate 1 spot away from you, then you must basket cut. Notice I said nothing about cutting when you skip pass. We'll cover that later. For now and forever, if you pass 1 spot away from you, then you must basket cut. If you stand still, you've screwed up. This is a rule we'll never break. And this is a 2-player reaction that must be drilled to the point of habit in this layer. Rule number 2, open spots are filled from the baseline up as quickly as possible. This will leave the basket cutter with an empty spot that he can fill after completing his basket cut. Now for the 3 scoring opportunities. Before a pass can be made, we must be sure the receiver is open. We do this by playing on the NBA arc while using the 19-foot arc as a read line. If the defender or the receiver is behind the arc, then your teammate is open and you can pass the ball. If your defender is over the 19-foot arc, then you must basket cut. There are no signals, just go. Using the 19-foot arc as a read line ensures a lot of space and makes it very difficult for the defender to recover and defend the rear cut. If the pass is not thrown, don't worry about it. Your basket cut leaves a spot open which must be filled by your teammate. Here comes scoring opportunity number 2. When filling an open spot, the player without the ball must view this movement as the great scoring opportunity that it is. Most defenders will react by sprinting to get denial position or even anticipate stealing the pass. As soon as your defender steps on or over the read line, rear cut. This is tough to defend. Again, if you don't get the ball, not to worry. Another teammate will be on his way to fill your spot. This is another 2-player read and reaction that must be drilled to the point of habit in order for this layer to work. When the pass is made, scoring opportunity number 3 becomes available. It's the passer's opportunity. He can score on a front cut or a rear cut. Here again, the reads have been simplified. If the defender jumps toward the ball in order to get into denial position, and this is what 99% of defenders have been trained to do, then simply rear cut straight to the basket. Here's an example of using the defender's habits to your advantage. There's no need to jab step, V-cut, or make any contact. The defender has stepped out of your way, so take what he gave you and go straight for the basket. I emphasize making the pass right off the back foot of the defender. This gives the cutter the ball as soon as possible in case he needs to make a move based on help defense. If the defender doesn't jump to the ball, whether by design or because he's temporarily brain dead, then front cut him. Since your body's between your defender and the ball, the pass can be returned to you immediately. This pass, read the defender, front cut or rear cut, 2-player reaction must be drilled to the point of being automatic and with no hesitation.
3-player drills to build 2-player reaction habits. Front cut. Rear cut. Fill open spot overplay, rear cut. Layer 4, post reactions to dribble penetration.
You might wonder why I want to add any post slides at this time. Why not wait until the traditional post player has been introduced in the 4-out 1-in or 3-out 2-in sets? Because at this point in the progression, you'll begin to mix the first 2 layers of dribble penetration and pass and cut. And when you do, even though you're in a 5-out set, inside players are going to be created like this. A player passes and cuts, but immediately his receiver decides to drive. The cutter suddenly finds himself in the post area with dribble penetration occurring. Even though he's not a post player per se, he's now a post player because of his position. He'll have to know how to react to dribble penetration as if he was a post player. So, even if your team only plays 5-out, pass and cut, drive and kick, you'll still need to add these 2 elementary post slides. They're for everyone, not just the typical post player.
Post slide number 1.
Let's pretend you're in the posting area, ball side or weak side, and the ball penetrates. If the ball enters the lane above you, then step down to the short corner, separate from your defender, and look for the bounce pass. Don't wait to see if your defender helps. That would mean that you have to make 2 reads: the ball handler and your defender. So don't think and don't delay, just react. As soon as the penetrator takes his first dribble, make your slide to the short corner. There's another read and reaction to this slide, but it's at the next level of development. Remember, this is a learning progression. Giving players too much too soon is about the only way we can screw this up. So we'll add the additional option later when we get to a 4-out 1-in set.
Post slide number 2.
If the ball penetrates the lane below you, then slide up to the free throw line elbow. Separate from your defender, create good spacing, and look for the pass. And again, it doesn't matter whether you're in the post on the ball side or the weak side. This completes the 2-player read and reaction habit that needs to be drilled for this layer. Note how simple this read is for the player in the post. If the ball enters the lane above me, then I slide down to the short corner. If the ball enters the lane below me, then I slide up to the free throw line elbow or beyond. And I do both of these regardless of whether I'm ball side or weak side. Note that this is a simple 2-player read and reaction that could be drilled anytime, preseason, during season, or off season. These 2 simple slides will fill the windows that we need in order for the offense to be consistent regardless of the set. Or, to say it another way, these 2 simple slides will fill the windows that keep the penetrator's passing options the same regardless of the set. Watch how the baseline drive exception that you just saw in the 5-out set has the same spots and windows filled when someone's in the post.
3-player drills to build 2-player reaction habits. The ball drives